Here inside of our CMS that is using GraphQL, we're able to fetch a list of different services. We can see inside of the CMS we have different entries for our services, and we're able to query these using GraphQL. Fetching data from a CMS inside of Astro isn't unusual, but today Astro have introduced an early preview of the Astro Content Layer. We can define a collection like we do normally using Markdown, but instead of sourcing content from a directory, we can source content from an API. So here we have our GraphQL query, and then we define a new service collection with a new custom loader. Then we make a request to our API and return those services. You'll need to make sure that your services have an ID, but our API returns that ID so we can pass that along to the collection. Then using getCollection, like we can with other collections that we're used to with Astro, we can get all of our different services, but this time these services are fetched and cached inside of Astro's content layer. Then, similar to how we use getStaticPaths, we can use that same getCollection method to generate the static paths for all of our different services. Then we can print the service name, tagline, and all of the info to the page. Now let's start the Astro server and open our project on the default port. Here we can see a list of all of our different services, and if we click on one of these, we can go to the page with the unique ID in the URL. And this page is generated statically using the data that was sourced from the CMS using Astro's content layer. Now you might be wondering about schema validation. We can use Zod in the same way we can with Markdown files for front matter, and here we can specify the different fields that we want to be included inside of the collection. This is just an early look at how you can use Astro's content layer to fetch data from a CMS with GraphQL, but you can already create custom loaders to fetch data from things like RSS feeds or CSV. And if you've been around long enough to use Gatsby source plugins, then this is going to feel very familiar. I'm really excited about the future of Astro's content layer with Astro Actions and Server Islands, that it is now my default choice when creating websites that are both static and dynamic.